Let's see what this guy has to say. Rax, the boy. Everything I know about Path of Exile 2 from Rax. Let's go.
Hi everyone, it's Rax. Boy, do I have a doozy of a video for you today. I have been spending the entire last week studying Path of Exile 2. And for those of you that have been following me from the Diablo games, you know...
Chat, should I put also like this subscribe? Should I put, when I do the the video, do you guys think this works? Because now I saw this and it made me realize, okay, am I subscribed to Rex? I think I am.
I have a Diablo sheet where I calculate essentially everything, and I make spreadsheets on how to power up and how to level as fast as possible. Well, I thought I would expand this sheet, of course, to Path of Exile 2, because this is probably going to ruin my life. I've already...
It was a big... Chat, losing Rex, losing DM, losing a lot of creators for Diablo Immortal was such a big loss. You guys don't understand like the power of influence that these guys bring and credibility to a game. So it is what it is, chat.
I said goodbye to my friends and family. So what I've been doing for the last week is trying to be a student of the game, and I've made tons and tons of notes here of a bunch of things about the game, where whether you have played...
You get to around the same time as them, got back 2 months ago. Yeah, listen, RV, the game, it is fun, but it is still the same thing as you know as it was, right? So as long as you don't let like the pain to win mechanic and bother you, and understand that you're just gonna take more time progressing, you're gonna be fine. It is a fun game. It is Diablo Immortal is still a good game.
Path of Exile before or not, I think this avalanche of information may help you decide if you would like to play it or not, and if it's worth buying the early access, and how do you even get it. So, I mean, this is enough talking. I'll link the sheet to you down below. Honestly, if you want to close the video and just read the sheet, you can. But I will update this sheet always. The more that I know all the way into the launch of the game,
It's very useful.
Whatever I know about the game, the best leveling strategies. I don't know if we're ever going to have enough information to actually make a tier list, but if we ever do, I'll make that. And I'm also going to make this tab called the PoE2 definitions. I believe they're going to have definitions within the game, but I'm going to make my own here if you'd like to read it in plain English. And I'm still working on this. It's not perfect.
So these are all the status and the effects inside Path of Exile. So Path of Exile is like in terms of complexity compared to Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal, I'll say, is like a 2 out of 10 of like complexity, and Path of Exile is probably 8 or a 9 out of 10. I would say like Diablo 4 is like a 4. Last Epoch is like a 5, 6, and the Path of Exile 1 is like it is literally a 10 out of 10. But this one, it seems like they're gonna tune it down a bit on the complexity, and they're gonna make the game around like a 7.
But anyway, so what I thought I'd do, instead of just sitting here with a stupid spreadsheet, we'll play Path of Exile gameplay in the background while I cover all the basics of the game. Real quick, tomorrow we're doing another drawing for a PC from the Crimson Market.
All right.
If you're subscribed here, you can get a God tier PC every month. You see this thing that's spinning in this Spiritborn PC that they've custom built? That's a real diamond with a sheet, you know, official real thing. So it's going to be a God tier PC. If you would like to enter the drawing, you want to enter with the...
Chat, I badly need a new PC, man. I badly need it. Rax is madman. It's my first time seeing someone creating an Exile of this time. Oh, like... No, listen, there are a lot of people with a profile of Rax. I'm not that kind, but if you play like other mobile games like Summoner's Ward, bro, people go crazy on these spreadsheets, man. Even like Diablo Immortal, I think like Mo has some spreadsheets. I know that Orot, even though he doesn't share, he has a bunch of spreadsheets. So there are some people, they are like very into calculations and spreadsheets for the info. I feel like they are very, very useful. For me, I'm better at like creating guides and videos and like putting things in written form, but spreadsheets is just not my thing, you know?
the golden
I still have the spreadsheet from Summon's War. Yeah, you know it, man.
ticket. Gives you free points, no obligation, cancel whenever you want, but most people stay in because as you accumulate points, you can win these months. Really excited for this drawing. Found out about Path of Exile 2. Okay, so first of all, I guess let me start with something that isn't in the spreadsheet. A lot of people are wondering what Path of Exile 2 is going to feel like. Some people play PoE 1 and love it. Some people played PoE 1, hated it.
Yeah.
Some people have never played PoE.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like a lot of you guys in the chat are in the category. You never played PoE 1. So just keep an open mind, okay? Because what I always try to tell you, and I know that a lot of you guys don't have the PCs, right? But if you have a PC and you really like Diablo Immortal, you like the thing that you have a character and you progress the power, you can change your build, you can manipulate your powers, and like just give this guy like 10 minutes. Just give it the chance of 10 minutes so you realize why people like me and many other gamers are completely stoked to actually go and play probably the best ARPG of all time.
The base difficulty of the game in terms of playing the game, moving around, killing monsters, and winning is going to be more difficult. The monsters are going to vehemently try to kill you. Grinding gear games is going to pose challenges that I don't think anybody in the world is going to be able to just one-shot them all freely.
Will there be PvP in early access? I don't know. I have to inform myself, RV. In my opinion, your style of videos is more universal than anyone can understand. Thank you so much, Yash, man. Do you think it's better to see PoE 2 videos or face the game head on? So, like, I understand what you're saying, like going blind into the game, or because I have two decisions, right? But for me, personally, I feel like knowing a few things, it won't change your experience inside the game. And I'll explain why. Because nobody ever fucking played this game. So no matter what they tell you in these guides, people are literally just showcasing. Nobody can say, oh, this is gonna be the best build, this is gonna be the best class, because nobody ever played. Only tomorrow they will actually go and play it. So of course, like maybe some people already played closed betas with NDAs in these things, but nobody is actually able to share. So for me, I just want to know a bit more about the game to get me a bit more excited. And then I want to choose more or less, and you guys can also pick with me what is going to be the class that we're going to play tomorrow. And after we log in, then we go blind. We do a blind playthrough, and let's see.
You are going to be challenged, and you are going to have to solve your resistances, your defense, your damage, probably all of it multiple times in order to get through the entire game. Now, one issue that Path of Exile 1 was plagued by is the barrier to entry was way too high.
Massive.
The game is very complicated. The game is very bloated if you're starting very late. There's so many league mechanics that if you start late, you see these gigantic tree after gigantic tree after gigantic.
This is what happened to me. The first time I played Path of Exile was 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. Chat, I spent like 1 month learning the game. And I will tell you that I knew like 10% of the game. I beat the game, but the depth of the game was extremely big that most of the times I had to follow guys. But it was one of the best experience I ever had in a RPG.
Tree, you don't even want to play.
I think I'm going Monk, maybe Witch.
So Path of Exile 2 has simplified a lot of these systems tremendously, which we will go over here in a moment. So playing the game and understanding what to do and how to craft and how to build your character, all of that almost universally is going to be easier. So it's going to be much more of a challenge in gameplay than it is in building your character.
So this game, do you guys like Elden Ring? Do you guys ever played any Souls like Elden Ring? So this is gonna be a mix between ARPGs, as you know, and Elden Ring. Okay, so that's like the easiest way that I can tell you. It is gonna be a bit slower pace. It is gonna be actually hard to play. This is all the feedback, but only tomorrow we'll know. Because if you see, the character keeps doing the dodge mechanic, so I think it's gonna be very fun to see. Did you try Genshin Impact? It's interesting story. Yes, I played the Genshin Impact until like AR 30, and then but I just never got into the game. I think I lost the wave. I played like very late, and I like it was just not into me. But I played on Kai Star Rail a lot, like for like 1 month or 1 month and a half.
Character. And of course, there's going to be a million excellent content creators. Maxroll as one of the strongest PoE2.
Is this like Diablo? If you don't start right away, you will be left behind. Respect other players. No. This is like okay. So, Calum, this is different. The way this game works, it is with seasons. So each season has 3 months, right? So most of the times you play this game for like, depends on how fast you are at the game, but usually people play the game for like 3 weeks, 1 month. And once you beat, because there is a progression, right? The progression is like you start like as a noob at the beach, and then you have like bosses, uber bosses, and like uber bosses, like extremely hard bosses, okay? That to kill them, it is very, very hard. So to reach to that point, that's like what we say that it is the end of the game, right? So every season, there is a new season mechanic. So for example, last season, you had to build a city. You used to go and kill mobs. You used to gather some resources. These resources you used to, like Age of Empires. Like you put some guys working for you. It was very, very cool. Other seasons, completely different. Like you go into portals. These portals have like crazy mobs inside, like terrorists. Imagine like terrorists, right? So every season has a new mechanic that changes the game completely. So you're always excited to go and play the game and try something new. So instead of like playing always the same character, which you also can, because after the season ends, your character will go to it's called internal server. So you can keep playing your character, but you won't be able to play the new season mechanic, right? So it just works in a different way. And it is exciting because you can try. So imagine like if you, what is your class? Yeah, Settlers of Kalgor was so good, man. There is no pay to win. There is nothing of that bullshit. There is only cosmetics and some convenience on the stash tabs, and you're gonna be fine. So it's more like Diablo 4, okay? It works more like Diablo 4, but on steroids. That's the best way I can tell you.
Teams I've ever seen. Go to Maxwell and check out the team page. We have a bunch of godly people there. We will have you covered. So think of it almost like a Souls ARPG. It's all about gameplay here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
imagine a game, chat, in 2024 being about the gameplay. I feel like recently all the games is about like the freaking cosmetics, about the gacha, about like the new character, the new waifu, the new this and that, man. Like, and the gameplay and the fun, the satisfaction of the gamer itself is like it's like the down tier, man. So I am so tired of that, man. Yo, Stefan, thank you so much for the sub.
How do we play this? When does it start? How much does it cost? Let's get into some basic info. Path of Exile 2, the early access starts on December 6th. And
Thank you,
in
Avarice.
order to play the early access, you have to pay
But
money.
by the way, chat, I'm sorry that I stopped here, but if you check like this mechanic, this guy has a shield. So on Crusader, you are a big dude with a plate and a shield, but you die like a butterfly, right? Like you get squashed. Here, you have a shield, and if you have a shield in the main hand, you can use the shield to block. Okay, so if you notice what the guy is doing right here, like he's gonna be
in one
blocking
form or
the attack.
By the way, I have a ton of free codes
You can block and also dodge.
that I'm going to be giving away on my stream in the next few days. So if you want to, stop by and you might win one. I have at least 10 codes, maybe 20 codes to give. If you want
Chat,
to.
look at this. Look at this mechanic. It's gonna pop up the wall, and it's gonna. Oh my god! Look. Okay, so there is skills synergies. Chat, imagine if we raise the pit and then I kick the pit and then a bunch of rocks go. Like, look at this, chat. He's gonna summon rocks. He's gonna smash them, and he's gonna throw. Look at this.
Stop by and you might win.
Okay, rocks.
One. I have at least 10
Ooh.
codes, maybe 20 codes to give away. But
Jesus,
there are
chat.
2 ways, I believe, to enter the early access. The first is if you have a lifetime spend of, I believe it's $480 in Path of Exile 1, you're in, as a thank you for your support over the years. The other way is to buy a supporter pack on Path of Exile.
Oh, so I didn't know about this. So if in the past you supported the game more than 480 euros. So if you guys don't know, like if you go to the website, there is like these supporter packs that just gives you like some skins, some cosmetics. It's just a way that I love the game, I'm gonna support the game, okay? And the skins and the cosmetics are actually really cool. So if you spend more than 480 euros, you get the early access for free. That's crazy. Because, I only spent like 100 euros, so I paid the $30 early access. But the game will be free to play in August or July.
Exile.com. And the cheapest one is $30. Now, if you decide to not buy these packs, the game will come out essentially sometime in 2025.
Yeah.
Jonathan Rogers said he estimates it's between 6 to 12 months after the early access when the game will actually launch. So that would be halfway through 2025 to the end of it. So if you just want to wait, you absolutely can. I think it's a reasonable assumption on the first day that the servers will be on fire.
Yeah.
There will be bugs. There will be
the server will be on fire and my PC, man. I am pretty sure of that.
Problems. They said in the post launch or the post cinematic interview that there's going to be problems. So,
man, so one thing that they do very well, if you guys like bosses, boss fights in this game are incredible. Even on Path of Exile, they are the most challenging boss fights that you will ever do in an ARPG. Like, Diablo 4 is not even close. Okay? Not even close.
It's not a terrible idea to wait until launch, because then there's going to be many months of testing and polishing, and you get a better product. But at the same time, we ain't got no time for that. We can't wait.
Fuck
we need
that,
to play
man.
Path of Exile.
Fuck that. I thought the same. I was like, okay, maybe I can wait for next year. But no, I really want to play right now. And I will pay those $30. No problem, man. I have listen. I never have any issue, chat, to actually go and pay to play a game. I only have an issue with pay to win. That's all.
Those supporter packs, they also have coins that can give you cosmetics and microtransactions and stash tabs, which will help you in the game.
Yeah.
So it's not like you get nothing for the $30. You actually can.
Yeah, it's like these $30, they give you early access, but you can use this currency to buy more stash tabs, to buy some convenience inside the game. It doesn't give you more power. It doesn't exist. It just gives you convenience. That's all.
Can get cool stuff along with it. I bought the 400. I bought the most expensive pack just to support Path of Exile.
Of course, man. You're a fucking millionaire.
I already had a key, but you know, if they're gonna keep making games like this, then I'm just gonna keep supporting them. It's that simple. So anyway,
I felt the same way. I bought the supporters pack because I played the game. I played it completely free to play, and by the end, chat, I did the opposite. You have to understand. I played the game completely free to play, the first one. I reached to the end of the game, and I was like, what a great, like, 200 hours that I spent on this game. And then I bought the pack. So after I experienced the game, I felt like, man, this game gave me so much fun that me just going there and buying a pack to support the game, to keep developing a good game, that's what we want, man.
Anyway, Path of Exile on the early access, Path of Exile 2 is going to have 3 acts. There's going to be 6 on launch. There's going to be 6 base classes. There will be 12 on launch.
12.
And there's going to be 12 available ascendancies. There's going to be 36 on launch. So what the hell is an ascendancy? In Path of Exile, when you start as your character, as you get into the end game, you choose to ascend into a super version of your character. So for example, if you start as the mercenary, which is kind of like the FPS character.
All right. Oh my God, look at this chat.
Into the Gemling or Gemling Legionnaire, which is going to focus on skill gems and resistances and attributes. Or you can be the Witch Hunter, which is going to be about like...
Okay, so it's the same like WoW. If you guys play World of Warcraft, you can have you level up a mage, right? So in mage, then you used to have like a talent tree, right? And on the talent tree, you could spec on the frost mage, fire mage, or arcane mage. So here in this game, it's not like really like that, but it's very similar. Like you level up your character, and then you're gonna have to choose and pick your ascendancy.
Like elemental shields and disrupting enemy attacks. And this ascension thing is a big deal. It's a huge, huge part of the game, and it will dictate how your gameplay goes. And one thing to understand about the ascendancies is I believe currently there is no way to change it.
Yeah.
So it is a big decision that you are committing to on this character.
Chat, that's what you guys tomorrow will choose for me.
At least that's what I've heard. By the way, I should have said this in the beginning. Anything and everything that I say in this video could be completely wrong. In fact, if anybody knows for sure that anything that I say in this video is wrong, just post it. I'll give it a heart. I'll pin it to the top. I'm giving you the info that I know on an early access game that I've never played before. So
exactly.
I did the best
that's what I was saying.
But I'm not.
That's what I was saying to Caleb. Like, it doesn't matter if you're going to watch now, because all the info that is pretty much just showcasing and people assumptions.
I'm not always going to be.
But what I like about this video is like it's going to give us all the information there is.
Right. But anyway, I as far as I know, I do not think you can change your ascendancy currently in the game. So it's a huge, huge decision, and it matters a lot.
All right.
We'll get more into that.
So we cannot change the ascendancy. Deal.
So a couple of things.
This is a witch, I think.
Things about buying these supporter packs. Anything that you have bought, the cosmetics and the stash tabs from PoE 1, they're going to transfer over.
These are huge
and
W.
It should work cross-platform, except with PlayStation. Everyone's real mad at PlayStation. PlayStation wants their cut. Anything dealing with PlayStation, I believe the stash tabs will move, but the cosmetics won't. That's how I understand it.
So this is a huge W. This is the same chat. Imagine if Diablo Immortal does like a Diablo Immortal 2, right? And they won't migrate your resonance, or they won't migrate all your cosmetics, right? So pretty much you have a new game and you'll have to go and spend once again all the money. I feel like that's pretty lame. I mean, like, if it was regarding the resonance, maybe, but the cosmetics, I mean, so in this game, if you ever played or you bought anything in the past in the Path of Exile 1, it will migrate to the new Path of Exile 2. I feel like this is really, really important. And I am so glad because I got like few stash tabs, which are very important for you to just like have your things like, so here you only have 5 stash tabs, right? And 3 of them you have to spend on the Boom of Plenty. So I'm free to play. I only have 2. But in this game, I have like, I don't know how many I have now, but probably I have like 10 or 12. And there are dudes, man, you can buy pretty much almost infinite tabs. You can make folders. It is very, very complex. You can literally just have like these, the way you can like manage your gear, it is and resources is actually insane.
People are real mad about them because everything else is working cross-platform. But
I saw a video and I was completely lost about skill stones, etc. Yeah, that's why you have to like. That's why I'm doing here, and I'm taking it a bit chill. I'm absorbing slowly.
if you want to switch from PlayStation to PC and you really want your microtransactions, looks like you're going to have to buy it twice. Maybe if enough people complain about it, maybe we can get this reversed, but probably not.
All right, so F
A couple of
PlayStation.
hints. Path of Exile often has sales on the stash tabs. Like
Yeah.
they happen like once a month. You should buy all your stuff then. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
Another hint that someone gave me is if you wish list cosmetics that you like on the site, you'll get an email when they're on sale. Okay, you can get them cheaper.
Oof.
The final hint is never buy individual points. Always buy supporter packs.
Yeah.
They give you the same amount of coins and you just get free extra cosmetics. So if you've never bought stuff from Grinding Gear Games, if you're wondering if you should buy the early access, that's what you should do. Buy a supporter pack.
What they are talking about is like these Path of Exile supporter packs. It's these ones. Wait. Not these. What the hell? Hello? Path of Exile 2. Okay. Supporter packs. Okay, there it is. All right. So if you go here on the website, you have this. This is what I bought, chat. I bought the early access, which also gives me 300 coins that I can use to buy other stuff inside the game. But you have different levels. So this is like 60 euros. This is 30 euros. So imagine like €1 is like 10 gold coins, pretty much. But instead of buying individually from here, from the top, you always want to buy the supporter pack, which is like, okay, it's going to be 60 euros, but you're going to have the 600 plus you're going to have like a bunch of cosmetics, pets, avatars, and they look pretty damn cool. Like, look, this is like the 1001. These like, okay, then it starts getting like very expensive, but understand, players that they buy these, they just buy because they want to support. That's all. Holy moly. Okay, this is 500 euros, bro. 500 euros. But also, chat, it gives you a t-shirt, a sweater, and a book. And it gives you like a title of like, it gives you a bunch of stuff, chat, that the coolest thing is like, you not only you get these, but you also get the pack. So I never bought these. I don't have money to buy these, unfortunately. But if I could, I think it's deserved.
Beware of PlayStation not playing nice with anything else. And in the sheet, I'll have all the links that you can click on very easily.
Damn, are you sponsored? No, I'm not sponsored. And that's what you have to understand about like people that played Path of Exile. This game doesn't need to do any marketing, you know, because it is such a great game. Like, the company always does well. If they fuck up, they are very straight with the community. The community, it is fantastic. It's just like always W's for Path of Exile over the past 10 years, man. So they build up so much goodwill, reputation, that people will just speak good about the brand or about the game in this case, right? So
Easily where you can buy them and an early access.
So that's what I feel like games should aim for. You have games, for example, you have what is like that shooting game, the democracy game that also like people, Helldivers. You had Helldivers, people love the game. Then you had Paul World, such a great game. People were very excited about it. So if you have a great game, people will just speak and say, "Hey, there is this great game here. Come play, come test it out."
Access FAQ and all that stuff. Okay, now let's talk about some general improvements to Path of Exile 2. That's different from
Okay,
Path of
so
Exile.
this is what Shasha will play. So this is the witch. Shasha will play this. This is the witch that does the summons.
L1. The first thing is they've added WASD movement. So maybe a lot of people, I played WASD on WoW for
What is
10
WASD?
million years. So that kind of movement scheme.
WASD. Oh my god. So WASD is WASD. Okay. I was like, what is WASD movement? So WASD, so it means that you guys will be able to use the keyboard to move your character. So if you play Path of Exile 1, you can't, is only with a mouse. In the beginning, also Diablo 4, you could only move with the mouse, but now they actually added WASD. So W.
Game is beloved by a lot of players, and I think it's going to really help with classes like the Mercenary, that first-person shooter. I think it's going to give you a ton of control. That's huge. Another thing that they've added for all of the people in PoE 1 that could never figure things out is they've added a recommended like support gem feature within the game. And I can't tell you how much that's going to help people, especially because it looks like grinding gear games from.
So what he's saying, so if you play Path of Exile, nothing in the game will help you. So you know, like in Diablo Immortal, that you have like the recommended builds, which they are actually not the best builds in the game, but they just help you to actually figure out what you have to do. So here, I think it's here, right? So these are the recommended builds. If you don't know what to build, you just follow these more or less, and then you are able to play the game. And it is very good, especially for beginners, because you will have something that will guide without having to go to YouTube or any of these. So Path of Exile never had this, so they are having this on Path of Exile 2, which I feel like is gonna make it way more friendly for beginners, because that's always the biggest criticism for Path of Exile was always this. It is a great game, but it's super nerdy and hard to get in. So they are addressing this and they are making the beginner experience way better. I want you guys to see, do you or do you not feel funky while posing for these thumbnails? No, actually no. It doesn't matter to me. Let's go here.
From the things that I've seen have picked pretty intelligently. The fact that they're going to give you a recommendation and there's so many support gems and they're going to hide all the other stuff. If you just want to build, if you just want to get in there and play something and take what they're advising you to do, that's going to help a lot of the more casual gamers that don't want to spend their lives researching the game, get involved in Path of Exile 2 and really enjoy it. I love it.
So let me just explain to you guys more or less how it works, okay? So imagine you have the way it works in Diablo Immortal, right? Whenever you level up, you get some skills, right? Level 10, you get the Whirlwind. Level 20, you get the Sprint. Then you get the Wrath of Berserk, etc., etc. Okay? So here it doesn't work like that. Here, the way it works is like your powers are the same, for example, as the incense. So imagine like gathering incense. Instead of changing, your ability will give you the ability. So In this game, there are some gems. So along the game, you're gonna have to farm these gems. So the gem can be flame wall, can be the arc, can be whatever. So you can swap all these spells in and out depending on the build that you want. But there is also something even more interesting, is that you have the base flame wall, but then if you add more gems inside the skill, you can make it bigger, you can make it like 2 times, you can make it like cold flame wall, like you can literally just switch a lot. It is called Path of Exile. So this is what makes the game have so much diversity when it comes to builds, and is what it makes like super complex.
In their lives researching the game, get involved in Path of Exile 2 and really enjoy it. I love this feature for those kinds of players. They added a dodge roll, and here's what I understand about the dodge roll so far. You can use the dodge roll to animation cancel. So Path of Exile, again, they're going to challenge you, right? So if you start up a big attack and you're going to die if you finish the attack, you can dodge roll out of it.
So you see this, like here you have the mana. So there is a mana resource system. So whenever you try to cast something, you're gonna be spending mana. So it's not like you can cast all the time. You have to manage also your resources. So this is like pretty much the mage. For example, warrior, it is rage. There are different classes, they have different resources.
And animation cancel it. And it does look like it.
Is there only no, there is way more skills. As you see here, I don't know if you guys can see very well, but there is like, they usually a build consists in like 4 attacks, 3-4 attacks, but then you have other spells, and then they have other auras, and you have like other things that you can make it like so you have like pretty much like 10 to 12 spells, but in your main rotation you usually only use 3 to 4, but then once in a while you have to use, for example, your stun ability, or you have to use like a blink, or it just keeps changing.
It can provide you some.
It's like Diablo Immortal, but better. Exactly.
Some kind of immunity, some kind of iframes for projectiles and strikes, but you cannot do it outside of AoE attacks. So AoE attacks are going to hit you. That's
sorry,
how I've
Chad.
understood it. And
look at here. What is this, like the skill tree? What is this, chat? Gem cutting, skill gems. So, okay. So did they change these? Okay, is there anyone in the chat that actually made the research on these? Because are they actually changing the way the game works for here? Because here it feels like at level 7, you unlock all these powers, right? Or is this from the Ascendancy? This is actually... yeah, it allows to be creative. It's like instance, yes. But instead of changing one instance inside the spell, you can change it like multiple times. You can change it like 3 or 4 times. Let me hear these again.
if you finish the attack, you can dodge roll out of it and animation cancel it. And it does look like it can provide you some kind of immunity, some kind of iframes for projectiles.
So you see these? So what is this? Oh, this is like your weapon. Based on your weapon, you change your spells?
And strike.
What is this, Shasha?
But you cannot do it out.
So you see, like, if you put a crossbow, you unlock these. But because, like, is a elemental, it's probably like using a staff. So he unlocks these. But he unlocks these probably with what? With the gems?
For projectiles and strikes. But you cannot do it outside of AoE attacks. So AoE attacks are going to hit you. That's how I've understood it in talking to different people and how I think it's going to launch for early access. But
And by the way, you know how like the firestorm works in Diablo Immortal? If you have a wind elemental with a fire elemental, you create a firestorm. Okay, so that same concept. Imagine that now you have a build that you put water and then you shoot some lightning, and now you have like this lightning thing, right? There is a lots and lots and lots of synergies that you can put, and probably you're gonna see now, like for example, with the poison. Like, look at this.
Path of Exile has stated that all of this is kind of up for debate. They're going to have to see how it.
So okay, look at what this guy did here. So this guy first, he did like this iceberg, right? He summoned the iceberg. So first you have the spell, you click on the iceberg, and then you use your staff, and the staff will break the ice and will shatter some like these gems.
Have to see how it feels for everybody. Decide if they're going to
It's
change
really
it. Like,
cool.
is it going to be like Elden Ring, where if you dodge?
No, this
perfectly,
is not the skill tree.
it actually
No, maybe it's
dodge
the new
every
skill
attack?
tree. It's not the talent tree.
Probably not, but we'll see.
Okay, so you see here, he puts the bell on the floor, and now he's shooting the bell, and the bell is creating this AoE damage.
See how that goes. Another change, another significant change, as you can see in a lot of this footage, is the graphics are.
So support gems are the gems that it is the same in Diablo Immortal as Incense. Okay, so imagine the gems, the main spell gems are the skills in Diablo Immortal, and then you have the support gems, which is pretty much like the Incense, but instead of having one Incense, imagine you could apply multiple Incense for the same skill. We can do that, but we are limited to 8 slots.
Are just infinitely better. Like the PoE's graphics are like from the 1800s, from the Stone Age, and this graphical engine is, I mean, probably best in the ARPG space. So dramatic improvement there.
Yeah.
One thing you'll notice here on the bottom left, actually you won't notice it because my webcam is blocking it. There's only 2 flasks, life and mana.
Thank God.
And that's it. Other than
Thank
maybe
God.
certain uniques, like change them. But in general,
So in Path of Exile 1, there is like this mechanic. It's like you have multiple flasks. So when you drink the flask, it gives you dodge rate. Other will give you movement speed. Other will give you like resistance to fire, resistance to cold, resistance to all resist. So there was like a bunch of flasks that it was very annoying to use. So now you're only gonna have 2 flasks. You're gonna have your pot, your health potion, and you're gonna have your mana potion to use your spells.
general, 1 button for healing, 1 button for mana.
Thank
It's
God.
that simple.
Jesus.
In Path of Exile, you had 5 flasks, and you were constantly playing piano tiles with it, and a lot of the flasks actually became utility. They actually became things that had nothing to do with life and mana. They were run faster, or cure your curses, or cure freezing.
Yeah.
You can choose 3 of these. I believe they're called charms, and those are going to solve your ailments for you automatically based on how you choose them and how you craft them up. Maybe you'll switch them out for certain bosses. This is incredible. I don't think
Jesus Christ,
likes
like,
playing 5.
Look at how many support gems this game has. These are, listen, chat. So another thing is this. Doesn't matter what is your class, you can use pretty much any gem on the game. Okay? Like, you can. So there is no gems for class specifics. So if you want to be like a barbarian using like a, it's just like it won't be optimal for you, but you can.
Buttons for utility stuff, and the fact that they're automating a lot of it is just going to bring so many more players to it and such a huge quality of life. I love that they did that. More quality of life. The links and the gems, as we just saw there on the window, are simplified. They're now part of the gem itself rather than a part of the gear. If you have ever played Path of Exile 1, and even if you're a great Path of Exile 1 player, I'm sure hundreds.
Chat, this is the passive skill tree. So, okay, probably, I don't know if you guys played Diablo 4, but the skill tree looks like this in Diablo 4. The skill tree in this game, it looks like the galaxy constellation of stars. Okay, it's literally, you can go like anywhere you want. It is this massive. So which brings a lot of complexity into the game, to because like a lot of players, they see this skill tree and they are like, okay, I'm done. No, I'm gonna go back to Diablo Immortal. You know, like a lot of you guys, you see these, and I'm gonna go back to Diablo Immortal.
Hundreds of times.
But with time, it gets easier.
You finally get the links that you want, and you put in all your gems, and then you get another upgrade, and you want to move the gems over. Oh, but you can't, because
And also another thing is like you can change these as you want. You're just gonna like, if you want, like, okay, I have this boss, right? Okay, let me optimize for this boss. Okay, so I'm gonna go through this branch right here, right? So you can change your character, your play style, whatever you want, depending on your needs. It depends on what boss you're gonna face. It's just you just can do whatever the fuck you want, which is also very exciting.
Then this other link doesn't exactly work with your setup, and you're sitting there trying to figure it out.
But the thing is, like, DI dumbed down. No, DI has to dumb down because it is a mobile casual game. Like the mobile gamer, if you put a tree like this inside the Diablo Immortal, they will not play. Because Diablo Immortal, like I said, the complexity of the game is like a 2 out of 7. A 2 out of 10, right? Diablo 4, I would say it's like maybe a 5 out of 7. But, well, I would say 7. A 5 out of 10. And I think like Path of Exile 1 is like a 10 out of 10, which is like above the norm. I think it's too much complex. So this one, I expect to be like a 7 out of 10.
Or you accidentally leveled a gem too high, and now that you swapped out a pair of gloves, you lost 10 strength, and now you can't equip it anymore, and you don't know.
Yo, King Tokyo. Yeah. I stream now. I stream here.
The proper way to de-rank your gem. You can't remember where to buy the gem, and when you do buy the gem, it's level 1. You can't remember what vendor has it leveled up, and then you're like, okay, how do I solve this in my passive tree? I'm not exactly near a 30 strength note. It's just a nightmare. It's just a nightmare.
It was a nightmare.
So now that everything is attached to the gem itself, it makes it so much easier to actually build out your skills and also to switch them around. One design change that I have not tried, but as I think about it, I think will be excellent for the game, is that only one type of support gem can be used in your entire build. So, for example, one thing that it seems to be godly on almost every single gem is faster attacks. Oh, I put faster attacks on my main skill.
So only one support gem. Okay, so the way Path of Exile 1 works is like you just stack sport gems on top of sport gems, which is pretty much like, okay, give me more faster attack, more damage, more these, more that, right? So all of a sudden you have like this skill that was actually dog shit at without any support gems, but once you put like all these support gems, it just became like a godly attack. So they are saying they are limiting to one.
I put faster attacks on my shield charge. I put faster attacks on my leap slam. I just put faster attacks on everything.
Yeah.
That actually takes away from the game, right? Especially since you get faster attacks right at the beginning of the game. That takes away from actually making really cool builds. So faster attacks might be godly, but you have to choose where it goes. I actually think it's going to be a great thing for the game. I honestly think a lot of the things that Grinding Gear Games decided to do seem to make a lot of sense to me. One thing to understand is gems can be tied to certain weapon types. So if you're playing a warrior and you want to do like the big, slow, slammy skill, that might be tied to a mace. Or it might require you to have a certain number of attributes before you can use the really powerful skills. So hopefully we can avoid like kind of the booby trap that we have.
Yeah, so usually imagine certain skills require you certain weapons. Makes sense. So if you have like mace slam, you cannot use like the mace slam with a bow, right? So to unlock it, the mace slam, you need to use a mace, and then certain skills at certain levels. So imagine at level 1 of the skill, you need like 50 strength on your character, and to use like the level 20, you needed like 400 or 500 strength on your character. So that's how you start doing more damage. They don't want people to focus too much on the passive gems. I feel like that's a good thing, but I don't know how to having just one. I mean, I feel like in some cases, Chasha, the reality is most people used to use always the same support gems everywhere. Faster attacks or multiple attacks, right? Imagine almost every skills that you, especially like for example with range, right? You always used to use those ones. Special faster attacks was all everywhere. So now, I don't know, I mean, I think like it will make it like the decision a bit more meaningful, right? Like you have to pick just one support gem. It's just like, okay, you want to attack faster? Do you want to have double projectiles? Do you want to like have increased range? So we will have to test it out. I feel like personally, I kind of like the change. I like that it's reducing a bit the complexity.
And Path of Exile 1 that I just described with the attributes, but in general, it should be way easier to interact with and build out your characters. They added another resource called Spirit, which is used for your summons, your minions, your auras, anything like that's persistent on your character, any of the meta gems.
Yeah.
So it's nice because what you were constantly playing with was reserving your mana or even reserving your life in order to use your skills. And it was actually a cool problem to solve. I actually think Path of Exile 1 does a nice job of it. It's risk versus reward, especially when you're playing hardcore. Then it gets even more interesting. But the fact that they just make a separate resource for it, I think will feel good as quality of life. And again, it will be so nice for new players getting into the game. Gold is going to be the main currency of the game.
Yeah.
For the longest time in Path of Exile,
there was no
I
gold.
believe gold wasn't even in the game.
Yeah.
And the currency was mostly based upon.
So the currency is pretty much at it's like in the medieval times. So imagine I got 5 bones and I need like leather, right? I need like 2 pieces of leather. So the market, I used to trade 5 bones and you give me 2 leathers, right? So if I give you something, you give me something in return, which it was like, in the beginning, it was also another thing that added more complexity, of course, because instead of like, okay, you have these, I'm gonna buy you for X amount of gold. Now you had to actually go grind some resources, some orbs, and then I'll exchange for some answers or something. The trading was very, very interesting. So I don't know how they're gonna make this, but gold just makes it easier for the common person because everyone understands money, everyone understands gold, right? So I feel like it just makes it easier for everyone.
The orbs that people would trade, and that's actually really cool. You know, it's cool to kind of like in Diablo 2, you're trading.
Yeah.
How many Ist runes for this? Do you have a high rune?
Yeah.
And even the high runes had some variance in
Yeah.
how much they were worth. But
so instead of the Diablo 2 runes, here you had Chaos Orb, you had divine orbs, like you have a lot of orbs that you could do a lot of things on the gear, and they had different values, market values.
no, we're going straight to gold.
Path of complexity, yeah. So that's what they are trying to do. They are trying to do path of decomplexity.
Everybody understands gold. Very interesting thing about Path of Exile. As far as I know, or Path of Exile, when I say Path.
So that's the map. So if you beat the map, does it give you 30 spirit?
Very interesting thing about Path of Exile. As far as I know, or Path of Exile, when I say Path of Exile, I mean Path of Exile 2. Everything in the game, everything
Look at this boss.
is tradable. final uber pinnacle boss
Yeah.
ultimate god sword, tradable.
Yeah.
But the only thing that you cannot trade is gold. And gold is kind of like the life force of your account. You know, it lets you, for example, respec your character.
Oh, so they gonna keep the trading with items. So this is another thing. Imagine you go and you are grinding, like you're super, super strong, right? And you can kill the Uber bosses. And the Uber bosses, they have like the best loot, of course, if you're lucky. So even the best loot in the game, you can trade it because you may need to something, but the gold itself, it's not for trading, it's to repair, to respec. So, oh my god, yes, I'm actually happy for that because one of the things I actually dislike in Diablo Immortal, sorry, in Diablo 4 is like the economy around the items is like you want to buy like the most common item and it costs like 1 billion gold, you know. It's like everything, it is super inflated, it is super annoying. So I'm kind of happy with this. So to a point, chat, that I never interacted with the trading in Diablo 4, but I always interacted with the trading here. And another thing, chat, in this game, in Path of Exile, in the beginning of the game, you can choose 2 modes. You have softcore and you have hardcore. Softcore, it means like if you die, you can revive, you can respawn, nice. Hardcore, you only have 1 life, okay? Then inside this, there is different modes. There is trading mode, which means like you can go and you can do trading with other players, or you have the more you have a more difficult mode, which is called solo self-found, which means like you are playing solo, and the only gear you have access to is gear that you grinded. So I am a huge fan of solo self-found. Usually was the mode that I always played. No, not always played. I played one time trading and I played another time solo self-found. I never tried hardcore. I'm not gonna try hardcore on my first time because I want to explore the game. But and there was a third mode which is like ruthless. So ruthless is like, man, it is literally ruthless. The mobs are more are stronger, and the gear it drops is very, very less. So everything is like very valuable. So you can also play the game as you want. In the beginning, you can make you want trading, or you want solo self-found, or you want ruthless, or you want hardcore, or you want softcore. So there's a lot of ways that you can play the game,
among other things. So gold.
It kept a lot from D2. Yes, Path of Exile, it is completely inspired in Diablo 2, and they just like maintain the core of the instance of the game based on probably the best game ever, Diablo 2, right?
Gold is super valuable for playing, and yet you can't trade it. This seems like a super excellent dynamic. Seems like it'll be really good. The $1 million question, this plagues Diablo 4. I'm guessing it's going to plague Path of Exile 2. I'm not a historian here. I don't know how this has really gone for grinding gear games. But the problem that Diablo 4 constantly faces is RMT, real money transaction.
Yeah.
People just buying the best shit.
Yeah. So if you're wondering how Elon Musk it is top gamer in Diablo 4, like we all know, I don't know if you guys know, I am pretty sure, chat, that Elon Musk, with all those billions, is doing RMT to buy the gear. You know, like the dude got like the best in slot for everything. And that costs a lot of money. A lot of money. So, yeah, he ain't farming. There's no way Elon Musk is farming, right? Like, he has better shit to do. So, the only way is to buy gold and for real money, which is illegal, is against the OS, and then he just buys out of the black market.
You know, if you're a really,
or he has the fanboys farming for him and giving him the gear for free.
really good player and you race to world first and you find the greatest sword ever off the pinnacle boss that nobody can even kill. I mean, it's tempting to go on the black market out there and
Yeah.
to sell it for $1,000 if you can.
Yeah.
I've heard that Grinding Gear Games is really good at banning for that stuff, and that's all we can hope for, I guess.
All right.
In the game, there will be a guide.
I feel like it's important. So, Grinding Gear Games, if you are doing anything shitty on the game, like buying and selling accounts, like they literally don't give a fuck, man. They will ban all these bitches out of the game. And I feel like that when I told you guys that Grinding Gear Games, it is everyone praises this company. Not only the game, it is badass, but the company itself, it is it's like it has a respect of almost every gamer, and it's because of like they don't give a shit, you know. All they care it is we want to have the best game ever, and we're gonna ban anyone that cheats, you know. It doesn't mean like there are still not people that are gonna try to cheat, but it is important to ban them, to just like, you know what, this is not cool. And we all know what is happening in Diablo Immortal. It's been there since the start of the game, and I don't know why it's not acknowledged, and I don't know why it hasn't been solved since the freaking start of the game. You know, like everyone knows what it goes like in the dark market of Diablo Immortal, but nobody's doing anything for it. So because of that, I think he puts and frames Blizzard in a very bad picture.
That I guess is just going to teach you the game. The best example I can give you is Last Epoch. If you played that, their in-game guide is absolutely godly. One of the best in the industry. So very happy for that. Your weapons. So you may not know this, but you have two weapon slots.
Oh, I'm sorry, chat. I'm in the middle. I'm gonna put here. So you have two slots, so you can exchange. Imagine I can be using a staff, and then I can so you know, like in Diablo Immortal, you have the stance, you have offensive stance, and you have the defensive stance. So here, imagine like you have two weapons. So one can be your sword and shield, and the other can be like your massive two-hand weapon, right? So depending on if you want to do more damage, you go with the two-hand weapon, but oh shit, I'm in danger, you can swap to your shield and one hand and play a bit more defensive, you know. So it is really good that you have this playability. The same way I think you can also play, for example, with the bow, and then you can change to like dual wheel. So it's very interesting, the mechanics.
You can interchange between during battle. And
Diablo 4 has that. Yes, Diablo 4 also has that.
Those can have different passive tree paths. So, for example, you could use one weapon.
Wait, Diablo 4 has that? Oh yeah, it has on the rogue, right? No, it's been a while since I played.
Clear out the map, just murder all the small little monsters, and then switch to.
So if you see here, man, again, my camera is on the way, bro. But if you see, this is how it works. So you have the gear, and the gear will have these slots on it, and then you have the gem. And whenever you get the gem, you're gonna drag the gem into the slot, okay? So that's how it works. If you play Diablo 4, you know more or less how it is. But these are your spells, okay? This glacial rune is gonna make that your martial weapon will add cold damage, and is also gonna give you armor. So it's like some runes
with a different actual tree, and then give him the business, and he's dead. They have overhauled the crafting system. I mean, that's gonna take another million years.
Yes, listen, chat. The crafting system in the Path of Exile, understand that the basic thing, it is very basic, but then you just keep going on these layers of complexity. But all you have to understand, chat, is this: you can pick up the most trashy gear that you can. Imagine you found out a blue item or a gray item, and if you work and you grind certain resources, you can craft that rare item that you just got, the blue item, and you can keep improving it until you get the best weapon on the game. That's the beauty that, in my opinion, Path of Exile has. It is the itemization. It is something that I already spoke with Blizzard a few times, that we need ways to mid-max our gear. We need ways that we can manipulate our gear, our stats, because, man, everything is all about the RNG, man. I don't mind like to have some gambling on the crests. Okay, it's fine, but man, it's gambling on the crest, it's gambling on the green set items, it's gambling on the legendary gear. It's gambling like everywhere, man. Like, I am so tired, bro. I like, sometimes you have like this perfect piece, but it doesn't have fortitude, or it doesn't have the third socket, and I'm like, oh my god, man. I know, like, I'm probably like the 1% of the players, right? So most like, the thing is, like, chat, the most casual player doesn't even finish the battle pass for the week. You know, that's how casual a lot of players are in this game, in Diablo Immortal, right? So they don't care to actually go and mid-max their gear, you know? So that's why they are making a game that is not for me, you know? If you try to be a hardcore sweaty gamer, Diablo Immortal, it is not gonna be for you. Diablo Immortal, it is for the person that just likes to join for 1 or 2 hours a day on this phone while he's traveling on the metro. Maybe he's in the couch, maybe he's waiting for his wife or whatever, and he's just chilling, you know? If you try to be sweaty, you're gonna find a lot of limitations, especially if you're trying to beat max. Me and Orat, we had like this discussion a lot of times. We tried to speak with Blizzard, but I don't think it's gonna be happening anytime soon, chat. It's not in the plans. Do you know which console platform will be available? It's gonna be on Xbox and PlayStation. It's gonna be on both of them.
Your video to explain, but it's simplified and you can craft way more often. And it's also harder to fully brick your items. So you're going to be crafting, you should be crafting multiple times in the first act.
So crafting, it is a big part of this game. So you salvage the gear, and instead of like using the scraps to rank up your gear, you use the materials that you get from that, and then you can craft like your gear, which is really nice. Is this the Blue Man Gang group? Yes, Max Roll. He's explaining everything I know about Path of Exile 2. I'm literally preparing for tomorrow. I've been like too busy, and I kind of want to do that on stream because like I also want to share with you guys a lot of things that you guys may not know about Path of Exile, and give you a certain example with things that you guys know.
If you aren't, then the game is going to be too difficult for you, and you're going to get shit on.
Yeah.
So it's not going in with the currency is so rare, and should I craft on this or not? You should.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can get more currency later. It's
so usually the way you play Diablo is you have this mindset. Okay, the mindset is like, I need gear, so I'm gonna kill more mobs. So then I hope that they're gonna drop a better item for me. But in Path of Exile, it works in a different way. It's like, I'm gonna kill mobs, I'm gonna get the gear, and then I'm gonna craft. Okay, so it is the same concept as the green set items, right? Everyone knows that whenever you're gonna go spam random dungeons, most gear that's gonna drop is dog shit, and the way that you actually gonna get your gear is through crafting, right? So it is the same thing. It is the same thing as crafting green set items.
Supposed to drop very often. They have said in their interviews that from the play testing, they have only increased it. They want you to engage with the systems. And as you do it more, you're going to be more comfortable with it.
Thank you,
It's going to
Chacha.
get easier and easier. The skill tree itself, which you just saw for 2 seconds, has been simplified. And the way that they have done it is they've removed...
So this is the currency exchange. As you guys are seeing here, the way it works in this game chat. So you don't buy things with gold. You trade like divine orbs or chaos orbs for orb of alchemy. They both have different uses in the game. And it's literally just like going back 1,000 years ago when, like the Portuguese people went to India and they used to trade like, fabrics for like spices. And then, Indian people, they gave the spices. We used to give like potatoes and like, you know what I'm saying? So it works the same way.
The life nodes and all the damage.
So all of these, chat, that you're seeing here, this used to be done by an external website. And thank God they finally put it inside the game. It simplifies so much that it is incredible now.
Damaged nodes should make sense
And then, okay, so another thing, chat. So this guy is gonna trade like that item, and then for you to complete the trade, you make the order, and then you go to their base. So every single player, every single one of you, you have your own base. Okay, it's like your small city that you can make it as pretty as you want. There is also cosmetics and skins that you can make like look very, very cool. But so you teleport to their hideout, which is like the name is the hideout. You go there and you trade with the guy. So you see here he's putting the orbs and he's trading these 2 orbs for this item. So he's trading a staff for the orbs.
Nodes are designed to be pretty good for you. So even if you path whatever completely suboptimally, everything that you would have taken will still be great for you. So it's not going to penalize you as much. In Path of Exile 1, if you path the wrong way, you could literally lose massive multipliers of damage and just feel like a complete...
So these are legendary gear, by the way. Legendary gear right here. Orange. It's pretty common, right? I just saw it's not releasing on PS1 or PS4 or Xbox One. Really? Man.
No. The other thing is they took the life nodes out.
By the way, chat, you can use some cosmetics if you want, but in general, like look at this. This one thing that I also like is I enjoy cosmetics, but I come from a time when gaming was that the way you looked, it was the gear you had. Right, so I come from like World of Warcraft, and you knew like if a guy was using a certain tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, he looked like a badass. So I like that in this game, even though they have cosmetic skins, they still put effort in the way that the free to play skins they look.
But what does that?
When PoE is releasing, the early access is going to be released tomorrow. And the free-to-play version is going to be released mid to late next year.
Actually mean? Well, in Path of Exile 1...
What? Wait. Grants evasion and also... Oh, okay. This legendary grants you a skill. Okay, the legendary grants you a blink skill.
But what does that
like, look at the guy.
mean?
Look at the guy. The guy's going to now blink.
Well,
wow.
In Path of Exile 1, even on a softcore character, almost every build has to decide how much of your skill tree do you allocate to life and defense. And it's probably more than you might think, even in softcore, because Path of Exile is a hard game. They're going to shit on you if you don't allocate defense. Yeah. So there will, I believe there will still be defense in the tree, but the life nodes are gone. So you're going to get your life nodes, I guess, mostly from gear and your ascendancies and things, which again should make the game easier to engage with. So one very interesting topic is death in Path of Exile. So if you die,
You lose XP.
the bosses reset completely. This is not what happens in PoE 1.
Oh,
You can die and die and die.
Oh my god, chat. What? Okay, so here's how it is, chat. So in Path of Exile 1, they have like very, very complex, like 10 minutes fights. Okay, we're talking about like 10 minutes fights plus. Okay, so it's you versus a boss. I can show you a few fights if you guys are curious, but multiple phases, and they are extremely hard. So let me actually pull up here Path of Exile. What is like the best boss fight? Let's go here. So if we go here, let me just put like gameplay. I don't wanna have like anyone. The thing is, like, now is full of PoE shit, man. Like, look at here. It's like literally of PoE. What is the name of a fight? Oh, man, what is the name of the boss, man? Shepherd. Shepherd. Okay, Shepherd game boss fight. Okay. So, look at this, chat. This is one fight. This is not even the elder version. This is not the elder version of the fight. So, first of all, first thing that I want to show you guys is for you to access to this boss fight, you're gonna have to farm these 4 fragments. To reach to these 4 fragments, you have to do a bunch of dungeons, you have to do a bunch of things, you have to kill other 4 bosses, and each boss is gonna give you 1 corner, and then when you get the 4 fragments, then you can actually put the 4 fragments together to kill Shepherd, okay? So the boss progression and the way it goes, it is fantastic. Like, this game, like I said, you start in the beach, and then you just keep climbing up and up and up until like the uber bosses, okay? But this is like the normal version of the boss. So the way you do, you have to farm these materials, you activate, and in Path of Exile 1, you have these 6 portals, okay? So 6 portals, pretty much, it says like it's gonna be 6 tries that you have to kill the boss. What they are saying is that on Path of Exile 2, if you die, the boss will restart. So in Path of Exile 1, if you die, when you get another portal, you go back to where the HP of the boss was. So it made it way easier. It was still very hard, but was way easier. So just having 1 shot, it's crazy. So this guy is playing, I think, the Rain of Arrows, right? So you have, in the beginning of the fight, you have to kill a few mobs. You go here, you kill like a few bosses. Okay, so this is the actual fight. This is already the fight? Yeah. So this guy here is the guy that you have to kill. I feel like this guy is completely broken. This is a normal fight. This boss has the Uber version, and he has the Uber version, which is like this and 3 other bosses at the same time. It is pretty crazy. So then he sends you like to this portal. You just have to kill some packs. All right. So then he calls like this girl. So this guy is pretty cracked, and this has like is a 9 minutes fight with multiple phases. Each time that you see the HP on top of him, it's just like, man, it is another world. Okay, we are used to in the Diablo Immortal to enter and just literally kill the boss in like 5 seconds, right? But here things completely change. It is very different. You have to go inside like this red circle to kill him. You have to dodge very quickly. If you get caught by this ray, you're pretty much almost gonna be one-shotted. So it is not a good time. So let's go back to it. I just wanted to explain more or less like the mechanics or on the game.
Very interesting topic is death in Path of Exile. So if you die, the bosses reset completely.
This is crazy.
This is not what happens in PoE 1.
This is gonna be crazy.
You can die and die and die and whittle them down, and then the boss eventually dies. Nope. You die, you got to try again. You die in hardcore, character's gone.
That's crazy.
Sayonara.
The Kitava fight, I know.
In the end game, if you haven't played it before, when you're doing your maps, you go through a big like atlas. Now it's like an infinitely scaling world as you jump from map to map to map, which is like a really quick dungeon, for example.
Yeah.
You have 6 portals to enter and come out through, like if you need to sell your loot. If you die in a map, nope, you lose it. It's gone. You're
what?
Dead. You lost the map. You can't go back in. The pathing within the end game.
What?
Walking.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so the way it works, chat, imagine this. Imagine if in Diablo Immortal you had the Terror Instance. So whenever you get the Terror Instance, you open a portal. If you die inside the portal against the Oblivion Pillar boss, you lose the instance, okay? So here, is working the same way. But here, if you want to go inside the dungeon, you get like these keys. And the keys are gonna open the maps, and the maps, can drop some loot. They have a boss. I know, like, it feels like a bit complex, but all you have to understand is like, if you open a map, you cannot die.
Getting to wherever you want to go, cut off. You gotta go. You gotta find a way around. Or if you die on all the nodes going to the main thing that you want to reach,
that's crazy.
You lose. And if you finally reach the thing that you want, you go in there and you fight the boss and you die. Lost. It's gone.
Jesus Christ.
They are really, really penalizing you for dying.
So we're gonna have to go like very, very, very defensive.
So you're gonna want to fight in the tier that you want, really build up your character.
Yeah, right.
And high level, what does this mean? There are so many ARPGs where all you do is mindlessly stack up as much damage as you possibly can.
I don't know. What is he talking about? Imagine. Let me think about the ARPG that I just stack damage and I completely ignored every defensive possible. I don't know. I cannot think about any, chat.
And then you just put in a little sprinkle of defense, just enough to not get one-shotted, and you're gonna
just
take some
one rank one
there,
spiteful blood,
kind of whatever, and then you play the game. Honestly, it's stupid as hell. I like the fact that it's so brutal to die in the end game.
Oh my god!
It's gonna force us to really, actually think about your defense. And the nice thing is because we will be thinking like that, we probably will die a lot less often because we're so afraid.
Yeah. So pretty much, chat. In Diablo Immortal, we don't go as deep, but in Diablo 4 they go, right? So there is armor and there is resistance. Okay, so pretty much if you don't have your resistance, like your fire resistance, your nature resistance, your shadow resistance on top, you're just gonna be shit on.
Afraid of dying. Now, one thing that they are undecided on, it's still in the game right now, is will they carry over the
I'm playing tomorrow
penalty?
So right now, I'm trying to understand a bit more, like the changes from Path of Exile 1 to 2, and then I will decide which character I'm gonna play.
On death in Path of Exile 2, because they're already penalizing you pretty severely for dying in the endgame.
Pretty much, chat, at the end of the day, if you are an ARPG person, if you like Diablo Immortal, if you like the progression, if you like the feeling of, okay, I'm gonna build up my character, man, if you like that type of game, you gotta give it a shot whenever it comes out, okay?
And I believe they said
I will be streaming tomorrow,
the game, and the reason why they have it in the game is mostly for the highest levels, like 90 to 100. The simple explanation they gave is someone who gets to 100 dying 50 times, have they achieved the same thing as someone who gets to 100 and only dies twice? And the person that only died twice is obviously going to get there faster. It makes like race.
So, chat, not only you lose your map or the boss or everything, you also lose XP. And so if you die, so it makes like, okay, so in Diablo Immortal or Diablo 4, if you die, you don't have any consequence, right? Like you just keep dying. It doesn't matter. Not only you die, and you don't even have to walk back, right? You have a res stone. You res on the spot or you res on the checkpoint. There is no consequence. But here on Path of Exile, if you die, not only you lose now your dungeon, so the dungeon it's gone, whatever, and the way you lose, you have to farm keys to open the map, and the maps are like dungeons, right? So if you die on them, it's gone. If you die, you lose XP. So they really want you to take your time. You gotta build. You cannot like go completely like brainless glass cannon. Okay, if you go like glass cannon, all armor, all strength, only intelligence, like you're gonna get like shit on. Okay, so you gotta be careful. You gotta build up your defenses. It's just like a more complete way to play the game. Yo Jay, what's up, man?
For example, a little bit more interesting and puts an emphasis on defense. They haven't decided. That's what they explicitly said. It's in the game right now. They're undecided if it will stay. But you don't want to be dying in Path of Exile, at least in the end game. So we're going to have to, when we make our build guides, we're going to have to put a focus on defense. Logout macros are like an essential part of PoE 1. In PoE 2, all they do is pause the game.
All right.
Log back in, you're where you were.
Okay, thank God. Okay, Chad, there used to be like this mechanic in Path of Exile 1 that you used to be like very abused by people in hardcore. So hardcore means like if you die, right? So they used to use like this escape macro that the same way in Diablo Immortal, in Diablo 4 you have the scroll of escape. Here you used to have like this log out macro. So you used to log out of the game, and whenever you log into the game, you are in a different place, right? So now they kind of stop with that, and I actually think it's a big plus, because I feel like log out macros is just cheating the system. You know, I also feel like adding scroll of escapes in Diablo 4 is also cheating. It ruins the purpose of playing the hardcore mode. Hardcore should be hardcore. Like if you die, you die. That's just how it is, man. It just sounds like they made it so you actually have to be methodical in how you play through the game, not just run and one-shot everything. No, Jack, it's completely different. The best way I can describe Path of Exile 2, it is Diablo 4 and Elden Ring. So it's like way slower. You have to dodge the mobs. You have a lot of abilities. There is more than 200 bosses, man, in these games. Unique bosses. It's crazy.
I love this change. I mean, I think everybody universally agrees logout macros are stupid.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're essentially dead.
What is
There's
this?
A new mechanic.
Yo, what is this? What is this in the screen? It's like a demonic possession. So you gonna turn into like a demon?
Macros are stupid. I'm
Look
glad
at this.
that they're essentially dead.
Jesus.
There's a new mechanic blocking, but it's actually blocking.
Yeah.
So when you have a shield and someone's throwing a projectile at you, not every attack is blockable, but you actually put your shield down, put your shield up as an action and block it.
I feel like in Diablo Immortal, Crusader should have a block, an actual block, because it is nonsense that Crusader right now, it is one of the most squishy classes in the game. A big dude uses plate, has a massive shield, cannot even use the shield. Like, it's nonsense.
It's an active thing. So that's cool. They changed some things with accuracy. Accuracy is based on your distance to the target.
All right.
So being far away, your accuracy goes down. Being really close, your accuracy is very good. So melee should have an advantage here. It's about time melee out.
This is actually the first time that I see something like this in the game. It makes complete sense. So, if you are close to the target, the accuracy on the attack it is higher. But if you're a range class, you maybe you have to actually put some points on accuracy so you can hit with your bow. That's actually interesting. I never thought about that.
Always get screwed on everything. And that's why you see in some of the ascendancies
Bro, Monk, this is Monk, by the way. Monk is looking insane. I'm considering playing Monk. Man.
Range classes.
It just looks too good.
For one of them, for one of the ascendancies.
Like, look at these moves, man.
Was you can't miss, which is going to be a huge boost.
What does it do?
Okay, so that was
look at this Monk.
God, there's so much more to cover. Okay, I'm going to try to speed up here a little bit. This video's getting too long. Let's talk about the end game. We already said ascendance.
Bro, this is a fucking Monk, by the way. This is a Monk.
These are
this is PoE 2 gameplay.
Are hard locked. I'm looking at my sheet here. When you ascend, there are 4 trials that you have to do, and Ziggy D has a great video on this, by the way. I watched it this morning if you want to watch the full video, but I can explain it to you in 2 seconds. So there are 3 different kinds of trials.
Okay.
There is the Sanctum, which is like kind of like a cerebral room to room risk versus reward way to ascend.
Okay.
And then there is Ultimatum, which is kind of like locked into a gladiator arena and you just fight and you pick like buffs and banes. It's like a roguelike kind of experience. And then there will be a third way that
Bro, actually from all the gameplay I saw, Monk is actually making me super interested.
we are not familiar with yet. Grinding Gear Games will release it later. So there's 3 different options: Sanctum, Ultimatum, and whatever the third option is.
All right.
And then for all 3 of them, there are 4 tiers of difficulty.
Okay.
Tier 1, 2, 3, 4. What you need to do is you need to clear any...
Like, look at these bosses, man. Jesus Christ. They look so good.
...of the 3 at each tier. So, for example, let's say you love Sanctum. Okay, you do Sanctum Tier 1, and then Sanctum Tier 2, and Sanctum Tier 3, and Sanctum Tier 4. Every time you clear one of those tiers, you will get 2 points in your ascendancy, and then you'll get to put 8 points in your tree, and you'll be 1,000,000 times stronger. You're looking at an ascension tree, I believe, right here.
Okay, so the way we upgrade our ascension tree, which is pretty much like, imagine you were a mage and you want to specialize in frost, right? So mages usually they have the fire, frost, and arcane. So if you want to be specialize in frost, you have to go do these 3 modes, and each mode is gonna give you some points that then you're gonna put on your ascension tree. That's gonna make you stronger as you play. Okay, gotcha.
Right. But let's say you want to mix and match it. You want to do Sanctum on the first tier, and then you want to do Ultimatum on the second tier, and then you want to go back to Sanctum for the third tier, and then you want to do the new thing on the 4th tier. As long as you do one of the 3 at each tier, you're going to get your 8 points. And Ziggy D's advice in his video, which I think was very, very good, is first time playing through Path of Exile.
Wait, sorry, chat.
Just do them all at all tiers. Just have fun.
Give me a second, chat, because like I don't know what happens with my headphones. It just fucks up the
play them all. You're only gonna get the passive. You're only gonna get the ascendancy points for the first clear at each tier, but at least to have some fun. I mean, why not?
Wait, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, man. Okay.
So then in the endgame system, you're going to have this infinitely scaling mapping system. So
I know that the audio got messed up. It's these fucking headphones, man. The headphones are fucking old. And it's just like what was the huge announcement? Go check like the beginning of the stream. It is actually a massive announcement. New raids, we're gonna kill Diablo. New difficulties, new like a bunch of new stuff, man.
that might sound intimidating.
Man, how can I put these, man? Fuck me.
It's going to be fine.
Okay.
Just get in there, start clearing some maps. You're going to
somehow it worked.
see
It finished.
points of interest. You're going to see surprises. And it's got tons and tons of things for you to do. Now, it wouldn't be Path of Exile if they didn't have a million trees for you to fill in. You know, that's super intimidating. That makes you want to Alt F4. But
yeah,
they did something that I think is going to make things a lot easier for people. What they have right now for the endgame tree is a gigantic tree.
Yeah.
With like 1,000 nodes that you just walk through, and you have to figure out how to select and navigate through that giant tree to pick all the endgame activities that you would like to do. Think of it like, I bet a lot of my audience are Diablo 4 players. Think about if Diablo 4 had an endgame tree that you could put points into,
like
that
Paragon
would allow you to buff up Helltide or Uber Lilith.
Oh, okay. So, chat, what he's saying, so you have like this giant passive skill tree, and then you have some nodes inside the tree that it could boost like the rewards of your illiquidity rates. It could boost the drop rates inside Terra Rifts. It could boost the drop rates inside the dungeons. So that's what he's talking about. That's interesting.
Or Duriel, or
so depending on what is the thing that you like to do the most, for me, I will just boost the fuck out of like battleground rewards, man. Battleground rewards, like doing battlegrounds in this game, it is literally like, okay, I think we should have like 3 or 4 more times the rewards for actually playing battlegrounds, because if they made battlegrounds dropping like runes, some cool ass items, green set items, maybe more people will actually go and play battlegrounds. But when you go and you suffer to go and play against these massive whales, you have to, and then you just click on the daily rewards, and maybe you're gonna get 1 essence out of it.
Nightmare Dungeons, or the Pit, or the Infernal Hordes. It's like that. Path of Exile will let you buff the different things that you like to do in the endgame with these trees. And instead of PoE 1 having it all one gigantic tree, they separated it.
Right.
So now if you want to buff up Expedition, for example, you just go and you put your points into the Expedition tree. You don't have to navigate a massive tree and go find all the pathing to the Expedition nodes in order to play Expedition. So as far as I understand, the endgame trees go like this. First of all, there's just a general endgame tree, which just buffs the endgame generally, anything that you would do. Then we have the Expedition tree. You don't know what Expedition is? You lay bombs everywhere. You blow stuff up and monsters come out, and then you kick the shit out of the monsters. And then you can sometimes get log books. And they open these huge maps, these huge mining missions, and you just lay bombs everywhere.
Look at these balls, chat.
And sometimes you blow up craters and you go into like boss rooms down there.
Bro, just the gameplay in the background of this game makes me want to play. Like, if you look at this is not even like a final boss, okay? This is just a random boss on a dungeon.
I love Expedition. It's a lot of fun. Then we have Ritual. I believe Ritual is where you activate this little shrine, and then all these monsters come up. They rise from the dead, and you're locked in, and you got to kill them. And then you can keep doing the rituals and keep killing the monsters and then you get currency for that, and then you can spend that and get a lot of rewards. Then there's Delirium. I call this Gray Peacock. They say it's a mirror. It's a Gray Peacock. I mean, just look at it.
So pretty much they are bringing, like, the way this game works is with seasons, right? So every 3 months or every 4 months, you have a new season, which adds and comes up with a new game mode, okay? It's like, imagine you have a season which is like the Vanguard season coming up to Diablo Immortal, and you play that season. Usually the season mechanic, it is the best way to go and farm and interact with. But it can go, then you could have like the Terror Rift season, then you could have whatever. But after 3 months, everything resets and you got a new season mechanic, right? So this is how these games work. You have a character for 2 or 3 months, and after the season ends, that character goes to the internal one. But usually what people do is like, people just go and create a new character on the new season. And every season, the way you play this game, it is very different the way you play. And you used to play Diablo Immortal, which Diablo Immortal is more based into, okay, I have one character and I'm just gonna keep progressing this character for the next 5 years, right? Here, no. Here it's just like, I have an idea. This season, I wanna play with a mage. Okay, next season I'm gonna play with barbarian because I never played. Or, oh man, I have like this idea for this build. What if I make an archer that shoots grenades and also lands traps, and it has a shotgun? So you can have like these crazy ideas, and you can make like this kind of builds and try to beat the game with your own build. So it is a very different concept. It is, for me, it is fun because every time that I go into a new season, it's just like the game feels fresh. Also, you can get away from the game. You're not required. There is no dailies, there is no weeklies, there is nothing. You play whenever you want to play. If you don't want to play, you just go play something else. So that's why I'm excited to go and play some Path of Exile, because I know I can play this game for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I can take a break because I did everything, and I can go back to Diablo Immortal or some other game.
I don't know why.
I'm assuming this game you can play with other people. Yes, you can. Everything I've seen so far is solo, from what I can tell. So this game you can play co-op, and you can play with other people, but in general, a lot of people, they like to play solo. But you can play with other people. It's just not like the same way. It is, in that aspect, it is different. You interact with other players, and players are very kind to you, but it's not like there is a massive city that everyone chills and hangs out there.
They call it a mirror. This summons enemies all over the map as you play it. Gives you really good rewards. There's Breach. You open up a breach.
And to be honest, also another thing important, it is the difficulty when you have 2 players. I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind. So imagine I'm a water monk and you are the electro wizard, right? So we're going to play together. So my attacks are watered, so I'm gonna be throwing like some imagine like some wave to the guy, right? And then you come with your lightning, and that's gonna do extra damage because our attacks go together. So it is very interesting to play in the co-op stage with another person, because if we start to tell, hey, I have this attack, okay, what if I like, it just creates a lot of synergies. There's a lot of people that play with their wife or like with a friend or something like that, and they just play this game co-op because you can do very interesting things. That's where I was headed. If you play with a buddy, be more strategic how to play together. And so, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but the content will be like harder, okay? Which is normal. Like, it scales, but it scales in a way that it is actually. So in Diablo Immortal, if we are together, the game will become more easy, right? So there is scaling, but we are way stronger than the scaling itself. In this game, it is a bit different.
Breach, it expands out, and you got to kill as many enemies as you can as fast as possible.
I would love to. I think Orat will play, and I think Abo will also play with me. So we may have here something fun. Maybe we're gonna have like multiple Diablo Immortal players playing together. Path of Exile.
Then, of course, there has to be a bossing tree. And they said some of these pinnacle encounters are some of the most difficult ones they've ever designed. And they already have like Uber Maven and Uber Cirrus in PoE 1, which a lot of people find extremely challenging. It's the way they were talking about it. They're saying these pinnacle encounters are even more difficult. And remember, you can't die.
So for those that are not familiar with certain terms, that's why I'm pausing a lot and I'm trying to explain to you guys in a very like Diablo Immortal or casual way. So a pinnacle boss, it means like on a game the peak, right? If you beat that boss, you win the game, right? So the goal of this game in general is this. You start the season, you create a character, you start in the beach, you're pretty much naked, okay? You got the dagger. And you want to keep progressing with your character, and the aim is to kill the pinnacle bosses. Well, this is gonna take a lot from you, okay? This is gonna take, it's gonna take a lot of hours. Depends how good player you are. Depends how lucky you are, how good at crafting you are. It depends on a lot of things. But once you kill the pinnacle bosses, pretty much then you're done. All right. So that's how it works. That's how it works the game. Then next season you come to the game and that's it. Right? So the way I used to play Diablo 4, I was very, very good at Diablo 4. I am very good at Diablo 4. So now when I go into the game, usually I make a hardcore character. And whenever I die with a hardcore character, I just stop playing the game and I come back next season. That's how I play it. My wife might kill it if I start playing another game. No, it's just like you just get back in the one and then you play something else, right? How many pinnacle bosses are? They are saying, let me see, I think he said like 4 or 5.
These pinnacle encounters are even more difficult. And remember, the way they were talking about
let me see.
One, which a lot of people have like Uber Maven and Uber Cirrus ever designed. And they said some of these
3 bosses, 3 pinnacle bosses, which are like extremely difficult.
Pinnacle encounters are some of the most difficult ones they've ever designed. And they already have like
and also so do you have the pinnacle bosses, but until you reach to the pinnacle bosses, you have dungeons, you have like bosses, you have like super bosses, then you have like the uber bosses. So you have to kill like the super bosses to give you some requirements, some fragments, and then you put the fragments together and now you open the key to kill the Uber boss. Then you kill all the Uber bosses, and now they're gonna give you the key to actually go and kill the pinnacle bosses. So the progression on this game, it is like this, you know, it goes up because you have to kill first the maps, then you have to kill the bosses, then you kill like the Uber bosses, and then you kill the pinnacle bosses. That's pretty much how it is, the progression. But this requires a bit of time, and you need to really you need to make your character strong.
Like Uber Maven and Uber Cirrus in PoE 1, which a lot of people find extreme.
Is there a max level? Yes, the max level usually is 100, but it doesn't work the same way as you think. Here, the level it only matters until like you level 90. Then from 19 to 100, it's gonna take you a long time. Also, if you die, you lose a lot of XP, okay? If you die on this game, you lose XP. So, the level after 90, it doesn't really matter. What really matters, it is your gear. Your gear, crafting, making the itemization, putting together like this massive armor and your gems. It's just like, imagine if you could in Diablo Immortal make the perfect items by farming resources and going into the blacksmith, and the blacksmith allows you to actually change your gear, you know, to if you have like 100 orbs, now you can try to get, instead of imagine you don't want primary attack, and you have primary attack damage on your weapon, but you are missing critical hit chance, right? So you can try to re-roll that to make it like very, very perfect. So the power of your character grows with your itemization more than the levels. So as you keep playing, you need to unlock certain things to get resources to make your gear more and more and more powerful.
Extremely challenging.
Um,
The way they were talking about it, they're saying these pinnacle encounters are even more difficult. And remember,
and then you have like these passive trees. You have a bunch of things. You have ascendancy. Is really cool.
Die if you die,
Tomorrow, I will stream. I will start streaming Path of Exile, and you guys will see.
you lose your chance.
Today we are informing
it's
ourselves.
Be very interesting to see what's coming out. And they said there will be many, many more endgame mechanics besides this. But remember, going into the endgame, it probably will be a really good idea to...
By the way, another thing that I didn't say, the reason why a lot of ARPG players, they love this game, it is mainly because the end game system, it is incredible. A lot of games are like this. Early game, you have a blast. Mid game, pretty cool. You keep progressing. You reach to the maximum level. You have pretty much nothing to do, right? This is like the Diablo 4 experience. In Immortal, you have a lot to do, but pretty much almost nothing is meaningful. Diablo Immortal, it is pretty much like having a part-time job, which your boss tells you that every week you have to do this, and that, but nothing is really challenging. And it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna farm this, and that, okay? Nothing is challenging. It's just pretty much just doing tasks, okay? But you are progressing and you are trying to make your account stronger because you want to beat this and that. But the reality is, like, after a few months into Diablo Immortal, you are strong enough to beat the whole game. And then by then the game pretty much is done, right? You can come back every update, you beat the update, then you can go play something else. But here on these other games, for example, Path of Exile, Last Epoch is also pretty good. They have like this pinnacle bosses, this challenge. That's your goal. That's what I'm working towards. And it is achievable and is not pay to win. So not only to beat a pinnacle boss, you have to be extremely strong, but there is only so much of strength you can get with your character. Then you actually need to be and know, you need to learn the fight. That's another thing, chat. You have to learn the fight. Every character, every boss has a strategy. Every boss has their own mechanics. So you're pretty much gonna die a lot of times in that boss. So imagine like gauntlet bosses, solo gauntlet bosses, but you actually had to try hard, to beat the boss. So the reason why that doesn't exist is because of combat rating in the pay-to-win mechanic. It is nothing like the gauntlet bosses, but the gauntlet bosses, it is the only thing that's like 5% similar to a pinnacle boss.
To put points into the general tree, and then it's simple. You just pick whatever you like to do. What do you want to do? You want to lay bombs everywhere? Pump the expedition tree. You want...
All right.
This
Okay, let's keep it. I want to see Monty.
someone asked the question, what if you die so much that you literally lock yourself in the map and you can't expand? I believe there is an option to reset it. If you completely brick it, you can reset it and start over wherever you.
So I still didn't see the map, but from what they are saying is like you have a map, and the map is gonna give you a lot of paths, and you wanna have like these paths that you wanna keep unlocking. But if you die, then you cannot progress in that path. You have to take another route. So what they are asking? Okay, what if you die in all the routes? Okay, you only have you only have one thing to do. You have to reset the whole map and start from the beginning. Holy shit. This is gonna be ruthless, man. This game is gonna be ruthless. Jesus Christ.
Start, and so that's good that they thought of.
Listen, chat. All I've been saying is like I miss having a challenge. I miss struggling on the game because I've been loving Diablo Immortal because I feel like I'm a retired gamer. And I loved it, and I still love when I want to chill, I want to relax, I do some dungeons, I blast through all the content, right? But sometimes I feel like the part inside of me, I kind of miss like some challenge, man. You know, like when was the last time I actually played the game that challenged me? Like to fucking sweat, you know? It is brutal, man. It is brutal. Like dying actually having a consequence. And imagine chat, imagine not clicking to resurrect with your soul stone. If you die, you cannot take the same path. Exactly. You have to try others. And if you die in all the paths, you have to redo it again. That's crazy.
Of that. And another general.
And also, by the way, chat, this game itself, it is for people that like real games. Okay, if you're not a gamer, if you're like just a very casual gamer that you don't want to be stressed, you don't like a lot of challenge, this is not the game for you. You know, Diablo Immortal will be definitely a better game for you because you don't have to sweat a lot, but this game you're gonna struggle. You're gonna have to find solutions. You're gonna have to sometimes go back to try to grind better gear, to then come back again and try to beat the boss. You're gonna have to smack your head. So the best way I can tell you is like, if you don't like Elden Ring or Souls-like game, like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, those kind of bosses, if you don't like to struggle, this will not be the game for you. So I will just straight up say, not the game for you.
Question is, you can of course,
but it makes it more satisfying for you when you beat it. Exactly. One of the things that I regret, and we will do someday, chat, we will do some Elden Ring marathon. I never played Elden Ring. I saw a lot of the game, but I actually never played it. I really, really want to play one day.
Course, juice the maps. You can pump them up and make them extremely hard for better rewards. One cool thing that they announced that DM asked them was, are the pinnacle bosses static? So they have 4 tiers to them, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But
all right,
can you further juice the pinnacle bosses? And they said no. And I think that is actually fantastic. And the reason why is it sets like a maximum difficulty for the game. So if I say, hey,
so when he's talking about juicing the boss or juicing the map, okay, so in this game there is another resources that you can add on the dungeon. So imagine if you have Terror Essence, but now you have another essence that you can also activate, that it will make the Oblivion Pillar boss even harder, but will be juiced to a point that it's going to be harder, but it's going to give you more loot, right? It's going to give you more gold dust, it's going to give you more legendary items. So in Path of Exile, if you farm a few resources, you can use the Terror Essence and then juice up the Terror Essence to make it like a super Terror Essence boss, and if you kill it, you get a lot of fucking loot, man. You know? So that's what it means, like juicing the maps. It means like that.
Hey, I killed tier 4 Jim Bob, whatever the hell the pinnacle boss is.
Look at this boss, man.
I
Jesus
killed tier 4
Christ.
Jim Bob. That actually means like a definite thing, right? You know exactly what encounter I did. You know exactly what I have achieved.
Yeah.
If you could further juice it on top of it, if I said I killed tier 4 Jim Bob, they'd just be like, oh yeah, what mods did you juice it with? Oh, I don't know. I just did the regular version. Oh, well, yeah, I killed Jim Bob last week and I made it a yellow Jim Bob key, and it had all this other stuff. So I like the fact that they have that there seems to be a
So okay, so this is the progression, chat. You started Act 1, 2, 3, and 4, all right? And then 1 to level 65, okay? So this is like the leveling phase. At the end of each act, you got, like during the act, including during the act, you got multiple bosses to kill. You got multiple of quests to do. And then to finish and beat the act, you have like this big boss. Of course, in the act 1, it tends to be easier, and then it just keeps progressing and becoming stronger and stronger. Once you beat the act 6, now you unlock what is called the end game. So the end game goes from level 65 to level 100. Okay, good to know.
a finite difficulty there. A quick note on the classes here. That we can play.
Any idea how long each act will take? Okay. In the beginning, on the first playthrough, it will probably take a while, right? Because also it depends on what kind of player you are. Like if you are a player that you like to just speed leveling it, you're probably gonna try to ignore most of the things. You're gonna go point to point to point to point, right? But if you're like an explorer and you like to check, like it might take like more time, right? But I cannot tell you because I didn't play it. Nobody even played this game. We don't know yet. So on the first game, well, the game is already many years now, so people found ways to speed run like really, really fast. But and then it will also happen here. The first playthrough is gonna be always a struggle. Eventually, in 1 year, people will find ways to do it like in 1 hour or something. What class are you going to? I was thinking about the monk journey. I still don't know. I still have to decide what is the class I'm gonna pick. So that's gonna be actually my next video that we're gonna watch is all the classes in the game because I didn't check all the ascensions and all the classes. I have no idea. I'm inclining to go Bard just because I really like Bard, but I also really like Ranger and I really like Monk. I think Monk is looking fantastic. But you guys can also help me because I don't know.
Within the early access. First, we have the Mercenary. I already talked about it. It's a strength and dex class. It's heavy inspiration.
Yeah, it's the Mercenary. It's like the Barb.
Heavy inspiration from...
Oh, Kurt, it's here. Look. Level 1 to level 45, 25 hours.
First-person shooters.
It's right here.
Ammo types that have different effects.
I will assume like these like pretty much like the average.
And different elements. You can have a shotgun. You can have assault rifle.
65 to level 100. Hundreds of hours. Jesus.
You can have a sniper rifle. You can throw grenades. We have the Gemling Legionnaire. We talked about it earlier. It's focusing on skilled gems, resistances, and attributes. People are theory crafting. This one's going to be god tier. Then we have the Witch Hunter, which is gaining elemental shield.
Which is the one? Which one?
Resistances and attributes.
Legendary.
Gaining elemental shields and interrupting enemy attacks. Remember, all of these classes will have 1 extra ascendancy. We get 2 in the early access per class. We're going to have 3 on launch. Remember, we only have 6 of the classes. We're going to have 12 on launch.
So we only have 6 classes. Since it's early access, we can test all the classes. No need to set on the day 1. No, I'm going to play it all. But of course, like the first one, we gotta decide.
It's a crazy amount of content when you think about it. We've got...
By the way, chat, this is like the this is not even like fully released, man.
The Monk. It's an int and dex class. It's a highly mobile martial arts fighter. Honestly, probably my
Look
it's
at
an
this
int
boss,
and dex
man.
class. It's a
What? Chat. Lava bosses always looks pretty cool.
highly mobile martial arts fighter. Honestly, probably my audience here. Most of you are probably at least somewhat familiar with Diablo 3. It kind of looked like Diablo 3. They even dropped a bell on the ground. I don't know if that's a slap in the face to Diablo 3 or like kind of a thumbs up that they like the design. But they have lightning, ice, and
So they have like, oh, what is this cruel? It's like, okay. So chat, what they are saying is like, in this game, in the early access, we only gonna have 3 acts, and for the full release of the game, we're gonna have 6 acts. But now we're gonna have 1 to 3 in normal, and then we're gonna have 1 to 3 again in cruel, which pretty much is gonna be the other version. So probably they are still saving a bit of content for whenever the game comes out. Okay, that's cool.
wind elements. They use quarterstaffs. The 2 things you can ascend it to are the Acolyte of Chayula. I don't know, did I say that right? You transform spirit into darkness. It gives you more chaos damage.
Yeah, this is the difference, chat. His camera is in the middle, but early access we're gonna repeat from 1 to 3 2 times in a harder difficulty, and here on the full release it's gonna be 1 to 6.
Mana leech or energy shield. Or you can be an invoker, which further enhances elemental forces for additional damage, defenses. I literally put it.
All right.
Poison right from.
Okay.
I took my.
He's explaining like the classes. So I'm gonna skip the classes because we are gonna watch a video about that. So I just wanna see his final
That
thoughts.
is pretty much what. That's 113 pieces of info that I have been able to gather in the last only grinding gear games themselves, but a lot of great creators out there. And by the way, am I allowed to say something? Holy shit, there is some content out there that is super dog shit. I guess this happened with Diablo 4 as well. But some content creators, oh my god, dude. Never mind. Let's keep it positive, boys. It's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Okay, anyway. Holy shit, though. Are you kidding me? Anyway, that's all I got, guys. So the sheet.
Listen, Rax, sometimes it looks like me, man. Man, it's so true, man. There is some content out there that is actually dog shit, chat. Especially when I see like creators saying that Morn Skull is bad. Oh, dude. It kind of triggers me, man. Because you know what? I feel sad for free-to-play players and low spenders that know they probably are a fan of the creator and they are not gonna pull for Morn Skull because they think is actually dog shit, bro. And they just don't understand that Morn Skull is literally probably the best. It's not the best, but it's very close to be the best to start in the game. It is free to get it. It's just like so sad, man. Man. Well, this looking really good.
Link it. The sheet has where to buy the early access.
So, chat, huge. This game, I really enjoyed because it kind of summed up like most of the things.